entertainment world and the video game world together. Now, this does happen fairly often when you see perhaps a video game that's based on a movie or a movie that's based on a video game. But in this case, we're talking about a movie that is about games and gaming. It's called Gamers, appropriately enough. It's sort of an indie, lower budget film, I should say. We're going to be talking to the director in just a minute. It has a very rather humorous premise to it about these guys who are trying to break the world record for a role-playing game, or set a record for the most number of hours playing this role-playing game. I'm going to run a clip for you now so you can get an idea of what it's all about.
West Lincoln High School, home of one of the most amazing streaks ever known. The football team was undefeated for over 16 years. An impressive streak. However, not as impressive as the record that started February 19th, 1982, at the school's lunch area. A different game, a different breed of athletes. 4 students began playing a fantasy role game called Demons, Nymphs, and Dragons. The games quickly moved into one of their parents' garage, and the friends played for a minimum of 52 hours a week for 23 consecutive years.
And joining us now is Chris Ferlino, who's in Los Angeles. He is the director and driving force behind Gamers. Chris, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel, for having us.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the movie process and putting this together. You are, this is your first movie attempt, at least of this size. You'd managed to do this in 6 days. What was that like?
You know, the great thing about doing this movie in 6 days was that's all we could afford. We shot it on 35 millimeter, and it was one of those things where, thankfully, having a history of working in public access and being at the Home Depot and videotaping people about wood, merchants, it kind of like, and also in the video game industry, working there and doing E3, which is kind of like our Academy Awards. It was a good training field to, like, sort of, you know, take on a movie in 6 days. Which,
we should point out, full disclosure, you do work for THQ, which is a video game maker. They had a hand at least helping you with part of it, right, with the trailer part?
What THQ had a hand, it was actually, we had nothing to do with each other. They inspired us to go ahead and make the movie because they allowed us to do a video game trailer for Full Spectrum Warrior. It was a live-action shoot, which was shot on 35 millimeter. And the cool thing about it was we just got hooked. We shot it in one day, and then what happened was I went to my friends and I said, you know what, I want to go ahead and try doing the movie. And THQ was really awesome. They said, you know what, go ahead. And you know, go ahead and do your special project that you've always wanted to do, and they allowed me to do it. So
now, you also experienced the birth of your child during the production process. How did your wife respond to you making this movie in the middle of all that?
The first day of shooting, my wife gave birth 10 weeks early to our twins, and they were it was intense because the boys were put in the NICU unit, and we were shooting at the house. So I got to see the birth. The doctor said, you know, they're going to be okay. And then I rushed home, and there I found in my house Beverly D'Angelo and John Hurt sweating in my garage, and 30 people in my house just, you know,
yeah, let's talk about the
to
people who were in the movie, because you've got some names here, at least names people might remember from movies in the 1980s, we should say. But they're still around. They're still acting. And one of them is William Katt, who people might remember from Greatest American Hero. We have a short clip of him talking to a very frustrated gamer who has apparently lost one of his characters, I believe. Can you set the scene for us?
Oh, what happens here is Dave Hansen plays the character Reese, and William Katt is his boss. And what's happening is Dave Hansen basically has he's not doing his job at work. What he's doing is basically calling his dungeon master, who's killed his character, and he's leaving just these horrible messages. And it's pretty much making all his coworkers very nervous. And so the boss kind of has to sit down with him and sort of give him a pep talk.
All right, let's go ahead and run that clip then from Gamers.
So what's this about, Reese?
I don't want to talk about it. It's a private matter.
It's not this D&D thing again, is it? Because it's happening every week, and you walk in here, you treat it like it's a real person. You're freaking everybody out, man.
She was my first female clerical character I ever rolled. I purposefully never played her with the Chosen Four until last week. Kevin, our dungeon lord. He killed her in less than 3 minutes. and then he burned her body.
All right, now the guys that are portrayed in this movie, the gamers, they're intense, they're passionate. Obviously, it's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek or a parody, perhaps in some ways. You're a gamer yourself. What's the reaction been from gamers who've seen this movie?
It's been extremely positive, and I think the thing that people have to understand, it's sadly based on my true life story. So we're not laughing, we're not making fun of them. It's pretty much that's what happened minus the horse thing. So yeah, it's been really positive, and the nice thing about it too is been their spouses and their parents who watch it, they can relate too, because it's just about people being really obsessive, be it World of Warcraft or Dungeons and Dragons. Or even gambling, these characters are all kind of true in real life.
Oh,
So
hey,
it's
well, I
very
have a
nice.
level 60 paladin, full disclosure, in World of Warcraft, so I know what it's like to spend a lot of hours playing a role-playing game, whether it's on a board or not. Hey, how can people get a hold of this movie? I know you're in the works trying to get this out and distributed. Where can people get it if they want to see it?
Right now, people can. There's two things they can do. They can go. We have it at buygamers.com. That's BUY gamers.com. And honestly, since we're an indie film, go ahead, buy it. If you don't like it, you can return it. That's the offer we're going to make. And if you want also to, at your comic book store, the offer isn't the same, but through Diamond Comic Books, they're going to be distributing in December. So you can buy it through there. And we are currently trying to get it out to a more worldwide release.
All right, and we don't want to give anything away, but do they break the world record at the end? Should we let people know?
Yes, they do, and it's really a touching story. It's something for the holiday the whole family can watch together, as long as they're over 17.
Right, yes, we should say. Slightly mature audience.
Exactly.
All right, Chris Foligno, the director and driving force behind Gamers, thank you so much for joining us from Los Angeles. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on. Thank you very much.
That's going to do it for this edition of Get Your Game On. I'm Daniel Siebert. Richard, back to you.
All right, Daniel, thanks again.
You bet.